it's all about maximizing your percentage chance of success. I think
Yes.
people need to really reduce it down to a math equation. Like, how can I put myself in a position where there's the highest potential number of mates and I have the highest potential percentage chance of success? How can I do that? And I think if you have the money and if you're not full of shame, then do the matchmaker thing.
I know it hurts. I'm sorry. This is not your All right, you came to the right place, you ding dong. It's called communication, baby.
Welcome to The Crunch, the only podcast that shops at Spencer's. It's your boy, Ethan.
And I'm not Patrick.
And she's not Patrick. Patrick is gone. He has vanished from the digital space.
There was a fight. I overthrew him.
You did. You did, physically and emotionally.
Yeah, I'm 5'3", 120 pounds. Took him out like it was nothing.
Yes, you knocked him over like a very small glass of water, and he spilled out onto the concrete, and we quickly forgot about him.
Yeah. Well, he is in Florida. It dried up real fast.
That is true. No, because we did the James Donald Forbes McCann interview last week, it just went late. And so we missed our time to record the dating corner. And then Patrick said, I'm really busy. And so now I'm here with Katie Ruvalcaba, a.k.a. Mrs. Ruvi, a.k.a. my friend. Katie, welcome to the show. A lot of people know who you are, but you've never actually been on The Crunch before.
Never been on The Crunch.
How does that make you feel, despite us hanging out in person many times and us being on your show?
Yeah.
And basically being real life people together.
Being real life people together, like occasionally these are people that you're not real life people with.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I'm very old to be on your show, so I'm excited to see how it goes. I'm
1 year older as of yesterday. Happy birthday.
Yeah,
everybody.
My birthday is yesterday.
Wish Mrs. Ruby a happy birthday. You're not that old. We've had people older than you on our show.
Who? Name names.
Okay, so you're 39 as of today.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Joel Stepanek is older than you, no?
Nope.
Dang.
You've had Gomer and Luca on? They're older than me.
No, we've never had them on our show.
Oh,
we've been on their show
on their
twice.
Show. That's right.
But
they've never felt
more
been sad
here.
for two people than the first time you were on their show. Actually, I think that didn't even get released for a long time because it was
never
so
got
sad.
Released. The first time that we went on Catching Foxes, it was not. We made a lot of jokes about certain Catholic celebrities and and what they may or may not be packing, if you know what I'm saying. And it was not appropriate.
More explicit, please.
I don't think I can, to retain our sponsor, which is also you, which is funny. I'm in the awkward position of having to do a podcast with a guest who's my friend and also sponsoring the show that I'm currently doing.
That's right. So, you walk a fine line and I can say whatever I want.
That's true. Since I did realize that you're doing that, can you tell people, you're probably the best person to tell people about the Good Egg Fund, which is a sponsor of this episode.
Yeah.
So why don't you just do that real quick before we do our dating questions, because this is the Dr. Ethan's Dating Corner where we answer your dating questions.
Yeah. The Good Egg Fund is a nonprofit that I started a couple of years ago with the theory that having no money should never be the reason that you don't help somebody. So the Good Egg Fund offers small grants, $500 or less, to help people do good in the world. So you can go to goodeggfund.org and click a little thing that says, I have an idea, and say, I work with this guy and he makes the same salary as I do, but he's got 6 kids. And like, I know that they can't afford new shoes for them. And he was kind of like, hey, man, I would like to get him like a Dick's Sporting Goods gift card so he can go get his kids like the sweetest new kicks, whatever. And you just send it to me and we help you out so you can do good for somebody in the world. You can make sure that somebody knows that they are known and loved and seen. It doesn't, we often make the comparison, like you can get a gift card for homeless people to give them lunch or whatever, something like that. But it doesn't have to be somebody who's homeless or destitute or anything. It just has to be somebody that needs to know that somebody sees them and that they're important and that they're loved. So if you want to go to goodeggfund.org, you can get yourself a grant. If you think that's a good idea, you can do a reoccurring donation for $5 a month and help other people do good in the world, or you could do a one-time donation for $6.2 million, and I'd have to find a more interesting accountant. So there you go.
I think you actually want a very boring accountant in that situation. If you
What's
have
neat,
millions of dollars donated, it's like give me the most milk toast guy
I want the guy
out
who's
there.
not going to break the law.
Yes,
Well,
I don't want you to even know the definition of embezzlement, please.
yeah, taxes for a nonprofit under that does like less than $45,000 a year
Mhm.
worth of business is
Yeah,
very simple. It's
it
sign
is.
a piece of paper that says you don't
Yeah.
make more than $45,000.
I almost started a nonprofit and you were on the board of my almost started nonprofit, and I'm
I
glad that
know.
I didn't do that.
It's easy in my state.
Yeah,
So,
I believe it. Well,
yeah.
and this is a strategy too. So maybe you're thinking, wow, I like, for example, I have a podcast that I really like and they could use $500 or less. So what you can do is if you get some of your friends to donate to the Good Egg Fund and then you
Mhm.
apply for a grant to give to the Crunch Patreon, and then we give back to the Good Egg Fund. And
Something
then we
about
do
this sounds
more.
like money
Well,
laundering.
no, and then we do more advertising,
Uh-huh.
and
And
then
you
we get more
open a
people to
mattress
donate.
firm.
We open a mattress firm, and then for whatever reason, Patrick's hiding inside the mattress when you walk in the store, and then he jumps out. He says, "Hullabaloo." If that sounds interesting to you, then we can work out a deal. But I think there is a cyclical kind of cooperative, monetary, fiscal Dow Jones type situation that we can work out here.
I don't know. Something about that seems mildly illegal. Like the only way that
Whoa!
I'm able to get pay for advertising dollars is because we scored a grant last year
Oh,
that was to be
really?
used only for operational expenses. So like I
Oh,
got $7,500 and they were like, you cannot give this away as grants. And I was like, cool.
that's
What do I
nice.
do? So Luke Carey was like, use it for advertising so that people will
Mm-hmm.
donate money that you can give away. And I was like,
Most
okay.
normal people would take that in a salary and call it overhead, but not you.
I don't take a salary from the Good Egg Fund. The Good
There
Egg
you
Fund
go.
has no overhead, well, had no overhead other than the cost of the website. But
Yes.
this year, I made up overhead. I advertised on every podcast I could get my squirmy little hands on.
Yeah. I mean, notable podcasts such as The Pillar, Catching Foxes, The Crunch. Is that it? Is that all
The
three?
Pride of Detroit podcast for
Oh,
Detroit Lions fans.
congratulations. Big weekend for you guys. Finally
There,
catching up to the rest of the NFL and having a bit of success.
you know what I don't need from you, whippersnapper? Sass.
I'm a Chiefs fan when it suits me, and these days it does suit me to just be a Chiefs fan when I need it. But because I watched when Matt Castle and Brody Croyle were going out there and stinking it up every week. Okay, when I was 10 and 11, I've done
Yeah.
my time, so I can pop in and out whenever I please, in my opinion.
Sounds
So
good.
yeah,
My brother that you kind of look like is also a Chiefs fan. So,
really.
yeah.
Well, there you go. Well, but we're
It's
not here to talk about football. We're here to talk about dating. And I brought on Katie because not only is she 39, not only does she run the Good Egg Fund, but
hurtful.
she's also a mother of 5 to 6 children. Do you have
5.
five?
I have
Five.
5 children.
I thought it was 6 for some reason. And she's been married for a good long time, and so she has a lot of opinions and thoughts to help us.
True.
Our first question comes from the Discord. If you have a question, you're not in our Discord, you can go to bit.ly/crunch Discord. There's a little channel called Dating Corner. It has the emoji with the heart on the envelope. That's where you can put your dating questions. And not only will you get help from the community, but you can also get help from me and Patrick on the podcast, unless you specifically say, don't put this on the podcast. And even then, there's no guarantees. So here's a tough one. Back in college, I was friends with this girl, and she started dating this guy. Both of his exes had warned her about dating him because of the Title IX stuff, but she dated him anyway. We're not friends anymore, but I wish I had been more honest about my concern for her dating life. He kind of pulled her away from her friends, etc. How do you go about bringing up your concerns without sounding like a jerk? And someone said, "What do you mean Title IX stuff?"
That
And they
was what I was
replied,
gonna ask.
he had some charges brought against him for assault.
Oh,
Just the Title IX stuff.
wait, she didn't tell her friend that she was dating a guy who may or may not have sexually assaulted other women?
No, she started dating him,
Uh-huh.
but both of that guy's exes had warned her about the Title IX stuff, and she dated him anyway. So his exes
Ah,
warned the new girlfriend, "Hey, don't date this guy. He's had allegations," and she dated him anyway. Um,
oh, girl.
this is like a lot of times the nice guy memes where it's like you shouldn't be with him, he's just a chad and he's going to abuse you and I'll be nice to you. A lot of the times those memes are fake and not real, but it feels like this time it's like actually real and the guy's a real chad and he's not someone that you should be with. But the question here in that kind of circumstance is, how do you go about bringing up your concerns with a woman whether you're a female or a male, without sounding like a jerk, like you're trying to just ruin their relationship or that you're jealous or something like that. You have any thoughts?
Oh, I have a lot of thoughts.
I'm ready.
Okay. So when like dudes that are terrible who are trying to harm you, the first thing that they do is separate you from your friends and family. So
Whoa.
the most important thing for you as this person's friend is, regardless of how garbage that dude is, you never ever stop being friends with this girl. You check in with her all the
Yeah.
time. Constantly be there, be willing to talk to her, and and don't make it feel like she can't talk to you about him without you yelling at her and being like, "Well, you need to break up with him." I mean, she does need to be told that. But if she thinks that's all you're ever going to say, she's not going to talk to you about him.
Yeah.
And that's going to succeed in his thing. And
Hmm.
always be prepared to take her side, get her out of there. But you got to be careful with those, because you can't bring up how much the guy sucks all the time, or she'll stop talking to you.
Right. Yeah. It's that fine line of maintaining the friendship without
Mhm.
compromising on your care for the person.
Yeah.
My thought was, can you get some of the boys together and do a little Title IX violation of your own, and just kind of
Yeah.
get
Is
in.
this poster a guy or a girl?
I think the poster's a girl
Okay.
but like maybe you recruit some of your fellow
Sure.
gentlemen, down at the docks and hand them some
Right.
pipes and wrenches and just say, go to town.
Or hear me out,
I'm
take a
ready.
swing yourself, and if
Okay.
he punches back, be like, "I told you he was
Right.
that kind of guy.
It's like,
I said it."
this is entrapment. I feel like,
I'm okay with it. I'm
yeah,
okay
I
with
think
it.
so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Mhm.
That's a hard, I don't know. It's tough because you want to respect people's free will, but some people are stupid and
Yeah.
their free will should not be respected. Like my
Mhm.
son, he's not stupid, but he just has a not formed intellect. And so
Right.
he climbs onto the table and then tries to jump off, which would seriously harm him and his little
Mhm.
brain. And so we have to say, don't do that. And then he cries and he screams. And then we give him a piece of a potato and he just sucks on the potato and then he's fine. Like,
That's
do you not do
that's a
this with your
that's
kids?
a wild treat to be giving
It
a
just use
toddler.
whatever is on hand, like whatever
A
we're cooking with.
potato.
Just you slice up a little potato,
Sure.
cook it in the oven or throw it in with the butter and about butter from the cooking streams,
Yeah.
butter
Yeah, yeah.
and
I've
garlic
heard of it.
and cloves, and such as, and then you just kind of hand it to him and then let him.
In the meantime, he's just crying on the floor, having just fallen off the
wait,
table.
right there.
Hang
I'm
on,
gonna
son.
cook
I'm
a
just
potato.
I gotta make a little au gratin situation, and
Yes,
I'll be right there. Okay,
yeah.
cool. You're
The
a better
point
parent than I am.
the point that I'm trying to make is not the delicious gourmet meals you should be feeding your children, but the point that I'm
Mhm.
trying to make is sometimes people are in a state of mind where you need to be a little bit of the bad cop because they don't like if this girl is dating this guy when both of his exes have come to her and said, hey, this guy has allegations of assault and we're not saying anything, but you definitely should not be dating him. And she still dates him. It's like her her judgment is compromised in some way. Maybe it's because this guy is just chiseled to the nines and
Yeah,
it's like
how hot is
difficult
this
to look.
guy?
That is actually, we haven't considered how hot he is because maybe we
I
take it all back.
No, I don't take it back, but I'm just like, this girl clearly has
There's something,
self-esteem problems,
right?
and, like, can you find somebody hotter? That's the fastest way out of
Whoa.
this situation, is if you have a super hot friend who's willing to take her out 2, 3 times, just be like,
Wow.
"Look, this is what we're doing, friend." And if he's hotter, she'll and she's getting attention from him instead of the guy who could potentially harm her. This is win-win.
It's like a coup d'etat.
Yeah.
You need to commit high treason
Mhm.
against the race of men for the sake of this one lady, but it
Right.
all will work out in the end. I think that's a great idea. And if you
Yeah.
can't find a hot guy, there's plenty of them in our Discord. So
That's
just kind
true.
of post a wanted ad, and I'm sure you'll get a bunch of normal, regular replies. But I think I think Katie's
Send
advice,
photos.
send photos. I think Katie's advice at the beginning is really good. Like, don't, if you see something like this where someone is kind of getting removed and you see them being manipulated in that way, the best thing you do is just keep inviting her to things, keep showing up, keep being the friend. And then if that doesn't work for whatever reason and she's just really cut herself off,
Mhm.
you can pray for her. but it's like it's difficult to protect someone or help someone who doesn't want to be helped too at the end of the day. And so it's yeah, that's one of it's. I think a lot of people are in that situation where they'd like to pull a friend out of a relationship or out of a group of friends, but every time they reach out to hang out, they don't respond, or every time they try to meet up, it falls through, or there's always reasons why it doesn't happen. And so it's like, well, I want to be close to this person, but I can't, physically because they won't see me. And in those situations, you just really have to trust that God is going to take care of them.
Yep.
It's an opportunity for you to sacrifice for that person.
For sure.
Yeah.
Just never be
Okay.
so far away that she can't call you.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Good point. Let's see. Do we have any? Usually Patrick pre-reads these, but it's clearly I didn't do that. So we've got another one here. This one's from another lady. Here's a cue, more of a philosophical than specific, but it came up with a friend after a random Instagram reel. Do you think it's important that women should have multiple options when dating? Argument A: women can easily idolize and over fantasize if there's just one. The competition is healthy for men. It calls both sides to be better. You can more easily see red flags by comparisons, etc. Argument B: no, or it doesn't matter, because if you're discerning well, then you won't get desperate and settle, and it might be unfair to the dudes. My friend was super in favor of women having multiple options with dating, and I'm a little more, I can see the point, but each situation and person is different. Do you think women should step out on their men and date other guys?
I assume this person is far more attractive than I am, because I don't think I ever found myself in a position where I had the option.
Multiple options.
There's
Yeah.
not
What
dudes.
kind of
I mean, if
fantasy
you're
world?
clearly just dating,
Yeah.
which as far as I'm aware, kids don't do anymore. Like they just
Mhm.
immediately have a boyfriend and it's an exclusive situation. But if
Yeah.
you're literally dating, then yeah, date a couple of people until one of them seems better than the other. Just make sure, as long as everybody's aware that like this is not exclusive, you're taking me on a date. I also have a friend named Steve that I hang out with sometimes too. Like that's
Mhm.
fine.
I have multiple other men that I like to kiss and smooch in
Well, don't
addition to
kiss and
you.
smooch them. Do not kiss and smooch. No, no, no. When I was in college, I had this happen one time where I had
At the
options.
University of Arizona,
The
biggest party school in
university,
the Southwest.
you're thinking of Arizona State.
I was literally talking to Emma about this last night because she was saying that Arizona State was not a very good party school, and she went to parties at U of A and said that they were way better. So this is from
Well,
a Pi-Fi at Arizona State University saying not that great.
I didn't go to too many parties, but one time in college, I did have two dudes who were into me. One was my now husband, and the other one was this guy named Noah who was in an English class with me. And I hung out with both of them on the same night once because my husband was being an idiot and calling other girls while I was literally at the table with him. And I was like,
Oh.
okay, I'm leaving and I'm going to go hang out with this other dude. But having done that, then
Mhm.
my now husband was like, okay, I want to be your boyfriend now. Like I do. And so it worked out great for me. It happened
Yeah.
one time. And the one time it happened, I tricked him into marrying me and then saddled him with 5 kids. And now he can't leave.
Yes, and now
Sucker.
he's saddled. He's like a donkey
Very
upon
much
which you've
so.
laid your burdens. But he's
More of a
a
stallion.
holy, well,
Call it
yeah,
a
kind
stallion.
of a
Yeah.
hunky sort of Italian creature.
He's
Um,
Mexican. What? Italian.
Stallions are Italian,
Sure.
right? I don't know what the name of a Mexican horse is.
Tonto?
Tonto
Which means stupid.
is that Native American? Isn't that the name of
Wasn't
a
I don't know, wasn't that the Lone Ranger's horse? No, Silver. Silver was the Lone Ranger's
silver?
horses.
Who's
Tonto
Tonto?
was his buddy.
That's right. Uh, I was down. Okay, I had a similar thing happen when I was a senior in high school, where I liked this girl Becca, and we would sit together every day in statistics class because I liked her, and there were
It
the
ups
way
the
that they
probability she'd like you back.
yeah, well, we were doing all kinds
Ba-dum-tsh.
of confidence intervals and whatnot, and my confidence interval was going up every single week. You know what I mean? And so we would do, but the teacher had it was the desks were always just two together, and I wasn't friends with any of the other guys in the class enough to like sit with them, like they all had their own sort of friendships, and Becca was the only one that I knew, and so I like sat with her and we started flirting, and one day I come back from a church fundraiser. And at this church fundraiser, I had met like one of the girls that was there that was like a server, going back and forth to the tables and stuff. We would like talk as we were working the fun. Like I was volunteering and she was working, you know what I mean? So she
Mhm.
like wasn't Catholic, but I was, and so but we like established this rapport, and it was very fun. And then I friended her on Facebook. I found out she was a model, and so I was telling everybody at school that I
Oh.
was flirting with a model and that she gave me her phone number and all these things. And
Oh,
then
no.
that day, Becca sat on the other side of the statistics class from me, like not in our normal seats. And
Mhm.
I had like a huge, just like, oh, like I
You're
just
not
a
a
big,
girl, Ethan. It's if girls can do this, not
yeah,
boys can't do this.
boys can't do this. This was, I'm
Okay.
just saying, I had a situation where I tried to have multiple options and it was DOA. It just did not work at all. Because the instant that the girl found out that there was another girl that I liked, she just avoided me. Still took Becca to prom, and we had a lovely time, and nothing untowards happened,
Bought her a
which is
nice
great.
seafood dinner and never called her again.
I did not call her after that, but it was
Saw that coming.
it was a good dinner. We were going to different schools, you know. It was
In the
whatever.
same statistics class?
What do you mean?
You said you were
Like
in the
no,
same
like this was
statistics
senior year,
class.
so like
Oh,
prom's
okay.
at the end, and then we're graduating, and
Got
we
it.
were going to different colleges. So
Right.
anyway, I did go to the same college as the model, and I tried to reach out to her, and she had moved on to bigger and better things by that
Got
point.
to college and her friend
So
set her up with someone hotter with no allegations.
exactly, yes, all that Title IX that I had to deal with was just
I don't know.
it
That
really
was a lot.
pulled me down. Essentially, this is my real answer. I think that it's normal to date casually, and I think you should date multiple people casually, and I think that's fine. I don't think that's a weird thing. I think at a certain point you have to decide to go exclusive with one person. The amount of time that is for you could be different. It could be one date, could be 5 dates. It doesn't really matter, because you might be going on 4 dates with one guy and then go on one date with another dude and realize, whoa, this is a way better match. So I'm going to go
Mhm.
exclusive with this one guy, even though we've only been on one date, even though I gave this guy 4 dates before I went exclusive with someone else. So you got to feel it out. But I think, yeah, like you said, people are afraid to kind of, I think
Yeah.
everyone kind of has a fear of abandonment for some reason. Like a
Yeah.
whole generation of people is just like, please don't leave me. And
Mhm.
I don't know what happened in the psyche that
Yeah, he does not
made
have
that
to be your
occur.
boyfriend right out the gate. You could
Yeah.
date him for a little bit. It's a this is evident in old-timey novels, right? Like when
Yeah.
women have multiple suitors, like they can have 5 proposals from the same like in the same season. And
Oh,
if
yeah.
she says yes, she's allowed to get out of it, but the guy's not allowed to get out of it. Like that's a dishonorable thing to do. I think that there's lots of precedent for chicks dating around.
Have you ever read Anna Karenina? Is that a book that you're
No.
familiar with? Have you seen the
I'm familiar
film?
with it. I've never read it.
The one of the plot points of it is there's this guy who's kind of ugly and antisocial and a bit of like an intellectual,
Sounds like a
kind of,
Russian novel.
yeah. Well, I think it's Tolstoy putting himself in the book basically, and
Nice.
he really likes this. Anna Karenina has a cousin, and she's somewhat of a princess and a lot of suitors, and so this guy goes and he's like really excited. He's going to propose to her, and then he gets there because it would be fashionable for the families to be united. So it's like kind of it's a good match, you know. But he gets there and there's this big, strong army officer who's very, yes, indeed. And he's just at a party. Like they're all just kind of at a party together. And he gets
Mhm.
so bent out of shape by this guy being there and flirting with the girl that when he actually does like propose and ask for her hand, he's all awkward and sweaty, and he doesn't even like wait for a response. He just runs away and basically leaves Moscow and doesn't come back for like 10 years because he's just so scared, because Vronsky was just there. He was just there and he was attractive, and it freaked
Does
him out. They weren't
she
even
answer him
dating.
before he runs away?
I don't remember because it's at the very beginning of the book, but they do end up getting married later on, and so it
Oh,
all works out. And
oh,
the
gracious.
guy that Vronsky marries throws herself onto some train tracks. So
Wow.
yeah, it's a great book. Everyone should read it. But this is for you women. Don't just go with the big attractive army officers at the Russian ball. Go with the ugly farmer. It's always better.
Uh,
You don't think so?
no, when I first started dating my husband, I had this roommate who was often drunk. Like she was
Mm-hmm.
not great at not being drunk, and she would give me advice in her drunkenness, which was fun. Apparently, she knew my husband when they were like little kids, and we had been dating like not exclusively, but dating for like 6 weeks. And he'd been to our house multiple times, and she walked up to me and was like, "He is way too good looking for you. You should date him until he realizes it." And I was like, "Wow, that was
That's
direct."
me.
And then
That's
several
mean.
weeks later, she offered to set me up with him, which was odd also.
Yeah.
The drinking was a lot.
Yeah.
It's fine.
More people, they're saying now that the kids aren't drinking alcohol anymore,
That's what Instagram has led me to believe.
which is very worrisome because casual imbibing of alcohol has led to most of the marriages in this country.
Indeed.
And
I have
who are we to rip that away?
I have a moderate exposure to teenagers through my daughter, and
Yeah.
they seem to be more on the devil's lettuce these days.
Oh, the weed,
Yeah.
the Kush, the ganja, the Mary Jane.
Yeah.
Do you know any other names for weed?
I went with devil's lettuce.
Devil's lettuce
That
was
was
pretty good.
that was good.
Well, because they can just put it in the pen and they can just hit a blinker and go on with their day.
Yeah, I think the vape has really changed the world in that sense. They can do
Mhm.
it in the bathroom without getting caught.
One day you're John Hancock, the next day you're on that reefer.
Yeah,
I got
that's
another
it.
question. I got another question
Mhm.
for you. This might be our last one. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. This is interesting. I actually do think you'll have a good take on this. I live near New York City.
Smells like pee.
You and I both have big experiences living near big cities ourselves, Indianapolis and Oklahoma City, respectively. So we
Right.
probably have some good take on this. I
Mhm.
live near New York City, and there are a couple of professional Catholic matchmakers. I'm 26 and single. What are your thoughts on paying for a Catholic matchmaker to help find a spouse?
I am so for this. Did you watch Oh my gosh,
Really?
did you watch, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel?
No, you told me to watch it 3 days ago, and you told me
That's
to watch
right.
all 5 seasons, and believe it or not, I have not had time since then
How dare you?
to get all the way through it.
All right,
But
I'm
no, I have not seen it.
100% pro arranged marriage always. Like, if you're currently listening to this and you're like, "I just can't find somebody," ask your mom to set you up with somebody and then just marry that guy. I assure you, she's not gonna find you somebody who sucks. But anyway,
All the
the
Indians in the chat are like, "Yes,
yes, and yeah, but
finally."
Miriam, the main character, Mrs. Maisel, her mom is a matchmaker, and then there's, like, this incredible nonsense, like, cabal of matchmakers that light a tea room on fire, and they're like the mafia, and it's incredible. I love that show.
I
It's
love the
very funny.
cabal.
It's a cabal of matchmakers.
Yes.
I am sad this doesn't exist in other cities, but I am now aware that it is a real thing in New York and that they tend to be culturally and religiously based. So, like, there's a Jewish
Mhm.
matchmaker. Back in the day would have been like an Irish Catholic.
Mhm.
Um, go for it. I say do it. Like, what exactly is the difference between that and Match.com
It's
or
maybe
Catholic Match?
a bit more money up front, but think about all the money that you would waste if you go on the apps and
Mhm.
you're paying for a subscription to Tinder or whatever. And then you have to go on all these dates and you're paying for gas and maybe you're splitting food. Like you're paying a lot of money to find maybe eventually one person, or you could pay the Catholic matchmaker 500 bones, whatever it is,
Mhm.
and skip all that and then go straight to a way higher percentage chance. It's all about maximizing your percentage chance of success. I think
Yes.
people need to really reduce it down to a math equation. Like, how can I put myself in a position where there's the highest potential number of mates and I have the highest potential percentage chance of success? How can I do that? And I think if you have the money and if you're not full of shame, then do the matchmaker thing. I am kind of hurt that on the dating show people are asking about paying money to other people in the Catholic dating space.
Do you know somebody in New York that you'd set her up with?
No, I'm just saying that like maybe I could do this if you gave me money instead, but no one has,
I mean, definitely start doing it where you live.
yeah,
But, like, I think this is such a great idea because, like,
this is a great idea.
CatholicMatch.com does not get a bad reputation if they set up several crappy people, whereas
Yeah.
if Mrs.
Oh,
Jankowski sets you up with
true.
somebody like,
Yeah.
she's persona non grata at the fish fry, okay?
Yes.
She's gotta do you good work.
Yes. The St. Patrick's Mrs. O'Malley is not invited because she ruined all of our daughters and our sons' lives annual fish fry,
All you
as
have to
it's
do is
called.
one
Mhm.
time you screw over the wrong person's daughter, and they're
Mhm.
burning your tea house to the ground.
And all you got to do is one time for the one time to pay her money, and then she'll get you. This is a good idea. I've never heard of this before, but in a place like New York, it makes a lot of sense. People live there. It's like, what if there's someone in Queens, and I
Mhm.
need to, and I don't, I never go to Queens, and I live in Brooklyn. What will I do? You know? Do you understand?
I understand that you are not great at New York geography.
No, they have the 5 boroughs. Okay, so it's New
Sure.
York.
Right.
New York is the first one, and
That's
then it's
no.
Jersey, and then
What?
Long Island,
Okay.
and then you have Central Park,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's Manhattan are the 5.
Yeah,
Right?
that's right.
Okay.
That's definitely it.
I've seen Friends, so I
That's
know.
100% not correct.
What are you saying? What do you
I'm
mean?
I'm saying you're from Oklahoma.
All right. All right.
There's
I
a
bet you
George
guys
Washington Bridge. It's somewhere.
I bet you guys couldn't name a dang city in Oklahoma.
Tulsa.
Outside of Tulsa and Oklahoma City. Name a city in
I can
Oklahoma.
name the one that you live in.
Yeah, it's true. You can.
I wrote it on a box this morning.
If you've been following the podcast, then you would know.
War Acres.
That's a good one. Where'd you pull that one from?
I have a moderator who's from War Acres.
War Acres. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, that's a deep cut. Not a lot of people would know about War Acres. Any Kingfisher fans in the chat? Anyone from Kingfisher? No? Okay. Okay. That's good. We can end or we can do one more. What do you think?
I don't know. It's up to you.
I know it is kind of my show.
It is your podcast. I did write you a hilarious limerick for this podcast.
Oh, you did?
I can't figure out a way to weasel it in there.
No. That's perfect. Because I was like, yeah, I want to save some questions for next week with Patrick.
Sure.
But if you've got a limerick.
Yeah, I didn't write it down though, so I got to pull it out of my brain. Okay.
Okay, we're all ready. Don't mess it up, or we'll all laugh.
Okay. In Eastern Ohio is a man named Frad, whose opinions on comedy are very bad. You're gonna have to bleep this.
Okay.
The man hates on his comics and in his bits. I'm just kidding, Matt. Don't get mad.
Wow. That's great.
Yep.
I don't think we have to bleep if a woman is saying it, you know?
Great. Excellent. I'm so glad to hear it.
Because that's yours, you know?
Well, and also it's why women are not funny, because they have to go vulgar to be
They do.
funny.
I know. If like a man says that, it's like, oh yeah, we all kind of know what you're talking about. But if a woman says, it's like, why would you talk that way about yourself? It's kind of
how could you?
I think it's because everyone knows deep down that women are better, you know, that they have a more an internal sort of softness and loveliness that men do not possess. And so when you hear a woman be vulgar, then it's like, wow, that's not how it's supposed to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I'm missing that gene. I'm not generally vulgar on purpose. I have many times been vulgar on accident. It gets clipped and put on the internet.
I mean, you may not be not vulgar, but I don't have any male friends that get to know my wife vis-a-vis text message and then send her gifts in the mail, you know?
Sometimes she needs things.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You've got this, and this is why it's weird when you say, you know?
I wasn't talking about your wife's. That would be weird.
I'm not. I wasn't.
I
wasn't
use
either.
that word like randomly in conversation. I don't think I've ever used it other than to rhyme because it offends Matt Frad, and it's not there for several minutes trying to figure out like, how do I make the joke about how he doesn't like the word and he doesn't like comments who have them.
Ryan, you have to bleep all of those out, and
Sorry, Ryan.
we need to be. And Matt Frad, if you're hearing this, we love you. We're your friends. I'm excited for you to come back from Austria, where me and Patrick are going to come on your show. It's going to be a great time. So
there's a 0% chance Matt Frad ever has me on his show, which is unfortunate because we have a lot in common about hating certain media.
Like what? You hate comedy too?
No. No. He's very concerned about media stuff.
Oh, yeah. That's
John and I have the whole thing, and it's fine. It's fine.
It would be kind of an interesting clash of
it would be John and Matt against me.
Yeah. That would actually not be. If you go, you need to go without John. I actually think it would be best if you went and John stayed in the parking lot. You know,
and then would go for that.
I would rather 100% rather watch you talk to Matt than John talk to Matt, because I know what John and Matt are both going to say. It's already mapped out of my brain.
And smoke this.
Yeah,
it's going to be a burger. What is it? What do you call it? Burger cigar.
Cigar Burger. Yeah.
Cigar Burger.
All right, that's it for our dating corner. Thanks everybody who wrote in your questions. If you want to support the Good Egg Fund, you can go to goodeggfund.org. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Goodeggfund.org, and you can donate. I highly, highly encourage that you do. There are very few
or
people.
you can request a grant.
Yes, that's the other thing, is you can request a grant. So if you know somebody who needs a wheelbarrow for their farm because there's rusted over the winter, then you can go and get one from the local home improvement store with a grant from the Good Egg Fund.
It's a true story.
All kinds of things that you can do. Katie, what's your Twitter?
Mine, Mrs. Ruvi, at MRSRUVI. Mrs. Ruvi.
Follow Katie on Twitter. She's great on there. And you're on the gram.
I am. I'm on the gram. It's all Mrs. Ruvi.
Mrs. Ruvi everywhere. So check her out. She's fun. She's our friend. She's also in the Discord sometimes. So if you see her, it's like, whoa.
I only go in the patron section of the Discord because that's where the cool kids hang out.
It's true. It's like when you see, like when Matt Damon does like a cameo in a Marvel movie. That's what it's like when you pop up in the patron chat. We're like, whoa, wait a minute, what's going on? And then you like disappear. And we're like, what was that? Just
not even true. Ethan doesn't answer my text messages even.
That is not true at all. I text you back all the time.
It's Patrick. Patrick doesn't return text messages.
We can all agree as we end the show that Patrick does not answer his text. Everybody, Patrick's not going to know that we're doing this, but if you made it to the end, go into the Discord and tag Patrick, do @CatholicPat in just the general chat and just say, answer your texts. It'll be very funny because Wednesday will come and he'll just get all these pings. He'll have no idea why. So do it. Great. Thanks. Bye, everybody. Thank you all for listening. Please pray for us. We're praying for you. We'll see you all next week.